Cool.
Brian, if you're listening, look, I have a wife.
But the meaning behind the temple ceremony is completely different than the 3 degrees or pretty much any of the degrees found in Freemasonry.
You know what my mom thinks I do, and it looks like basically
Grand Wizard.
Grand Wizard, old man witchcraft.
Red for Reddit.
The views expressed in this presentation are those of the host and guests and do not represent the views of any lodge, Grand Lodge, appended body, or any other person or persons whomsoever.
Brethren, we are at Refreshment.
Is this all about LDS? Yeah, I guess so.
Well, the link I sent you, yeah.
That particular one was LDS, yeah.
Well, you know how to navigate this better than... Oh, let's see. Hold on.
Well, yeah, then here, let me do this then.
No, wait, because I mean, if we all have something to search on, I was just thinking we can all get on Reddit and just search it ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. We're all wearing red shirts. Why aren't you?
Yeah, we're all wearing red shirts.
Yeah. Well, welcome everyone to the Refreshment Masonic Video podcast. You can see that we're all wearing red shirts and glasses for whatever reason. We didn't plan it that way, but obviously God did. So
That's
we decided
hilarious.
to get on for a recording and do some, Reddit talks, Reddit questions, Reddit forums.
Red for Reddit.
There we go. Subconsciously didn't.
If Marty comes on, he's not wearing a red shirt or glasses, we're shutting him.
Yeah, right. Seriously.
He's going to have to change in front of the camera.
See, here's what happens. We all were in the same car on the way down to Maru Grotto. We're on the same wavelength.
But don't tell him that.
He's going to have FOMO now.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So, Mark, you're the Reddit guy. You want to explain how you came about this before we read this off?
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Reddit is basically it's really a public field forum, and there's different subreddits, as you call. So, there's like a general one like news or politics, but then it gets specific, sometimes.
Well, there's one for sports, there's ones for, and then if you're like into sports, now there's one for like rugby, there's one for soccer,
baseball.
There's one for,
Yeah. So like some of the ones that, I like participate in, and some are very specific, is like Chicago hot dogs. All we talk about is Chicago style hot dogs, or baseball.
Which are the best, by the way.
Yeah, they are. Marvel is a big one as well too. So there's, it's really curated to whatever interests you have. And I've seen like very specific ones. So I'm like, okay. And obviously these are the G-rated ones. But one of the ones that I like to lurk on is r/Freemasonry, which is just, your typical Freemasonry one. I mean, there's a Scottish Rite one, York Rite one, Grotto one, whatever. But I like to lurk on a Freemasonry the most just because it's the one that the public can see. So, and that's the other thing too. It's like, you don't have to be a brother to post on Freemasonry. You could be like, hey, I just found my grandfather's ring. What does this mean? So
I forgot about all that.
So that's what Reddit is. It's just basically user curated content.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right. And one of the first Reddit questions, the only Reddit question you sent out on the infamous @Refreshment chat, of course, is about LDS. So I'll read this off. Excuse me. Would the LDS endowment be considered clandestine masonry? I'm thinking so. Here's the discussion. Brother Master Masons from the LDS community, maybe you can help me with this one. I started going to an LDS establishment with a buddy, I'm guessing a church, and after returning for a few months, all the men kept telling me, wait until you receive your temple recommend and receive your endowment. They were being rather forceful about it too. So I read up on Joseph Smith and his brother and father, read up on Nauvoo Lodge and associated LDS Freemasonry lodges. It seems Smith lifted AF and AM practices, then corrupted them and appropriated them for his own purposes. He being made an honorary Master Mason on site, it's a wonder he ever knew as much about AF and AM as he did. Likely his father and brother would have given him further information, so therefore they would have conversed the secrets to him. So how do we address this with candidates coming from the LDS community? It seems to me that if they do the endowment first, then do the degrees, we're in a way correcting what they previously learned. However, I would not recommend that an AF and AM go through the endowment after receiving the degrees, because in my mind, they are then participating in clandestine masonry. Well, that's a pretty interesting take.
Now, really quick, Wes, can you confirm, just for vocabulary, LDS being, I'm guessing, Latter-day Saints?
Yeah, it's not for LSD. That's flipped around.
So they're referring to the Church of Latter-day Saints, which is, I'm guessing, Mormon practice. Okay. And then in this particular sense, did this brother mention that he had already gone through his degrees, or did he just come across this?
No, from the phrasing that he's using, wait until you receive your temple recommend and receive your endowment. He hasn't. It sounds like he's investigating the church or has already joined the church, because it
So
seems kind of
I don't know that I
weird.
can consider it a clandestine masonry because they're not claiming to be Masons.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No, they are not claiming to be Masons. I don't even think the church claims this now, but way back when, Brigham Young, the second president of the church and prophet of the church, claimed that Freemasonry was just a corrupted version of the priesthood endowment, which is now corrected in the LDS temple ceremony.
I will believe that when they can prove that they were around first.
Well, it's funny. I really started thinking about it because it's claimed that Joseph Smith restored all these things, that he was restoring things from ancient days, from the Old Testament. And one of them was the temple endowment, and that it was a corrupted form of the priesthood from ancient days. Well, how old is ancient? That's a question to you guys and everyone. How old is ancient?
Well, ancient would be older than recorded history, to my
Mhm.
knowledge.
Do you think it's, let's say, 100 years old, 200 years old? You think that's ancient?
I think
It
that's
really
old.
depends. It depends on what, in context to, what it is. I mean, obviously to like, let's say, obviously to America, we're celebrating 250. 100 years to America is actually kind of old if you think about it, because we're such a young country. But to England, 100 years to them is nothing,
Yeah,
so
they've been around forever.
yeah. So it really just depends on the context and what we're talking about.
Okay, fair enough. So when Joseph Smith made this claim, he actually was made a Mason on site, but him and I believe it was partly Pete Pratt, I could be wrong about the other individual, they both had to go through the ceremony or watch the ceremony, kind of like what we would consider the Grand Master's class or
Like
blue
a
light.
like a blue lightning, yeah.
Right. So they both witnessed it. But the thing is that when they received it in, it was 1840 or 1841, at this time, the third degree, which we know now, would have only have been maybe 100 years old. So does that leave that enough time for the ceremony to be ancient? In my opinion, no, because he said he restored it. It was lost. It's been gone for hundreds, thousands of years off the earth, and Joseph Smith restored it. While the third degree at that time is only 100 years old, maybe 102 to 105 years old. There's just no way he could have known that. Just no way. So he didn't restore anything, in my opinion.
I personally, just looking at it, it's odd because while he was a Mason, Joseph Smith, right? You're saying he was made a Mason on site. While he was a Mason, again, this endowment is not claiming to be Masonry.
No, and the
While it
church,
may have similarities, we've already discussed on the show how different fraternal organizations, to like Marty's part of the Elk, he's part of the Moose. He said their ceremonies also feel kind of reminiscent of our ceremonies. Does that inherently make those ceremonies also Masonic? Would that be if we consider LDS endowments clandestine Masonry, should we then consider the Elk, the Moose, Knights of Columbus, anybody who's emulated our fraternities ceremonies, would those be considered clandestine Masonry?
Well, as for the LDS temple ceremony, was it stolen and rewritten? Yes, you can argue stolen and this and that, fine, whatever. But the meaning behind the temple ceremony is completely different than the 3 degrees or pretty much any of the degrees found in Freemasonry. So, no, it's not clandestine masonry, but it is a form of that ceremony. If you guys went through the
It's
LDS temple
adjacent. It's our
It's
ritual
adjacent.
ceremony adjacent.
Yeah.
you would recognize it right away. The first half, the first half of the ceremony, no, you probably wouldn't recognize. But as you get further into it and all the way through, going through the telestial, and celestial planes, as they call them, you would recognize all that in a heartbeat.
No, but also you got to think about it too. I mean, just not really a ceremony, but so for me, for example, I was a first responder, and I had taken an oath on the Bible, and a lot of it was very, very Masonic sounding. I had two brothers actually with me at my with my swearing in, and they both looked at each other like, yeah, this is very, very Masonic sounding. So I mean, I want to say, if anything, there's a lot of like Masonic influence into it. Now, whether it's we as Masons copied from the swearing in ceremony, or the swearing in ceremony copied from the Masons, I guess that's more research to be done. But I like to think of it as kind of like, in musical terms, interpolation, or or sampling. It's just something to be like, oh, okay, I like this. Let me use this in my ritual.
That's kind of like a form of flattery. It's like we see your ceremony. It looks very, very thing. We're going to expound upon it and make it our thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I've never came across anybody that said to me that, oh, this is clandestine masonry in the LDS temple ceremony. It's always been, oh, did you notice anything similar? And it's like, well, yeah, of course I did. I can't deny that. I mean, but the thing is I went through the temple ceremony first, then became a Freemason, just like the guy said in the Reddit thread. So
you're like, wow, this feels familiar. I can't quite put my nose on it because I'm blindfolded.
All of it was very familiar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all
I got a couple more.
Yeah, because I'm
Posts
tired
here.
of talking LDS.
Yeah. I like
That's
this.
fine. Here. Let me share what I have here, which I thought was a pretty funny meme. There you go.
Oh my God, you know how to use this?
Yeah, I do.
Jeez, come over and teach
Yeah, I
me.
do. Yeah. So for people who's either listening or too small words to read, so it's when you get asked about Freemasonry and what my friends think I do, it's like, hey, you're a volunteer.
Work.
What my mom thinks I do, and it looks like basically
Grand Wizard.
a grand wizard, old man witchcraft. What I think I do. I mean, I like to think I'm a Deus Vult, Knights Templar. What society thinks we do. We're
Satanists.
we're worshippers, but this is what we really do. I mean, we
Pass the
sit
green
around.
beans. Yep.
Pass
Yeah.
the green beans.
Pass the.
I have never eaten green bean once at Lodge. Never once.
Where's the green beans?
Where's the green beans? So I thought that was a pretty cool.
Dude,
post
I like
there.
that. That's funny. If you could share that with the group, I want to send that to some people.
Yeah, I put in our public chat here, so maybe you could kind of save it or whatever.
All right.
And then, so here's actually another one that I saw, which it actually just came out about 4 hours ago from username and 421. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in them. I'm in them.
I'm anonymous.
I didn't in him.
All right. Aluminum 421.
Aluminum 421. Hey friends, it's titled Illinois Pen and Jewels. Hey friends, I'm a Master Mason. I'm also a 32nd degree, so obviously Scottish Archmason, Council, Knights Templar. What jewels, if any, would be appropriate for me to wear and when? Illinois brothers only. Well, so I mean, we are Illinois brothers, so let's help this brother out.
Wait, read that again because it's too small for my blind ass to see on small screen.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
fine.
wait, hold on. I got it. I got it.
Yeah, I think Chuck Guy's got it pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm confused
Chuck
what
Eye.
you mean. What he's referring to as jewels, because is he considering like a Masonic ring a jewel?
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
I'm not entirely sure. Thinking either Masonic ring or maybe even like the pocket jewels.
Yeah, well, and reading kind of down along the lines of where Chuck Eye is on there, he's saying basically whatever pocket jewel, like whatever meeting you're going to, that's the pocket jewel you wear. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason to wear a different pocket jewel to a meeting that no one knows what that is.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
of
if you're
course.
talking about outside a lodge, that's still a lot of regalia to want to wear. They do make some pins that will have all the symbols of the bodies on it, like in one pin or a tie bar. But I've never seen like a pin, a lapel pin with every symbol on it. Only a
Well, you
couple.
clearly have not seen Mark's lapel extender.
No, I don't do that. I don't do that. No, I actually like to keep it simple. 1 or 2 pins on my lapels.
You don't want to look like a North Korean dictator?
No, I mean, I know our buddy Steve DeVries, he's like basically like, you know, right there. I mean, if Magneto was ever real, like he'd be screwed. Um,
You know what I would like to, you know what, in reference to like a tie bar, like, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing somebody come out
They
with a
got to
tie
bring up
bar.
X-Men.
yeah,
Tie bar?
no, the X-Men Magneto.
Oh yeah, no. I would like to see like a Masonic tie bar that is adjustable. You could add
And
almost like a woman's charm bracelet where you can add your appendant bodies to that tie bar.
there was a couple of them actually where there's a brother actually out of Wheeling, I want to say, Illinois Regalia, where he could actually customize it, so it's like
I'm not
his
saying
symbol.
customize that. I'm saying like self-customize. Like if you wanted, like if you joined a new appendant body, you could add it to it later on. Almost like a safety pin kind of type thing where you can slide it on.
Yeah.
Yes. The more pins we own.
Okay. Kind of like a piece of strut.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Put the nut in and slide
Well,
it over.
Yeah.
Well, this one here is actually a really good answer here. I rarely see pocket jewels in Blue Lodge, with the exception of Lewis jewels and Society.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of
so
Lewis
yeah, I
jewels,
think
you know
it's
anybody
really
that has
just
one?
what's that?
Guys,
You know anybody that has a Lewis jewel?
I'm actually wanting to get one.
look, guys. Masonic gold. Challenge coins, guys. It's challenge coins.
Yeah, seriously.
The Masonic treasure is challenge coins.
So yeah, so just a couple random Reddit posts and all that. So here's another one here. Let me share this one.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you and
as
Marty
far
are
as like jewels go,
Reddit guys.
I would never assume to wear something somebody's not going to know where I'm going.
Yeah,
if I'm going to a grotto meeting, and it's not that we have like pocket jewels for grotto, but if I'm going to a grotto meeting, I'm not wearing something from Blue Lodge. I'm going to wear something from grotto. If I'm going to a Royal Arch meeting, I'm going to wear, a red tie. I'm going to wear something from Royal Arch. I'm not going to wear, something from the shrine.
I kind of like doing something a little bit different. So let's say I'm going to not really chapter, because I'm district deputy, so I actually like to keep my district deputy Grand High Priest pin on me. But for example, I was going to, gosh, I want to say, I think it was OES, and I actually had like a different pin on me, just to kind of represent like a small representation of something different, whether it's like Widow Sons or Grotto or whatever. So I mean, it really just depends on what I feel, but I mean, it's just one.
Which, by the way, congratulations, Mr. Worthy Patron.
Yeah. Thank you. Second year.
Second year again. Yeah. He just got installed with his lovely wife, Amanda, who is the worthy matron of Villa Park OES.
Yeah. So, yep. She's the one who holds the power in that chapter. So yeah. All right. So here's another one from Pizza Priorities. This is 2 months ago. I just had my EA initiation. I had my EA initiation last night. This was in the state in Illinois. In the States, in Illinois. Ceremony went well, pretty intense. I hadn't read up on it a lot on purpose, so it was pretty much all new to me. One thing that is about it is I'm Jewish, and I took my obligation on a Tanakh. That was one of the first times that's been done recently in my lodge, I believe, and a lot of brothers had respectful, interesting questions about it. Looking forward to learning more and continuing the journey. So I think it's pretty cool, that the lodge had a Tanakh on there. I know one of my lodges had
Did
like that
now
and
the
like
question would be, did they have one available or did he provide it? I mean, obviously he can request to have that on the altar. I don't know, me personally, like I don't know what a Tanakh is.
it's basically so it's pretty much everything in the Old Testament.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I've never heard the word Tanakh before. Usually
Really?
I've heard like obviously Bible. There's the Quran. I've heard I don't think I've heard Tanakh for he said he was Jewish.
Yeah, he was Jewish.
Thought there was a different rule of religious law.
Yeah,
There is.
the
I give me
Torah,
one
the
second, let me get it
Tanakh.
up. It's the Tanakh.
That's the
No,
one I've
right.
heard.
Yeah,
I've
the
never heard
Torah.
Tanakh before.
Yeah,
I've
he
heard of
said
Torah.
Torah, Tanakh, and there's something else too.
Yeah, well, the Tanakh is basically the Hebrew Bible. So the Tanakh or the Torah is the 5 books of Moses. And then the Nevi'im or the books of the prophets, Ketuvim are the 11 books. Obviously I'm not Jewish. Just kind of reading it from Wikipedia, but yeah,
Yeah,
the
I'm
Tanakh.
reading here on the screen. It says that it's the traditional Jewish name for what the Christians call the Old Testament.
Correct.
Look
Yeah.
at you guys being smart and looking on the computer instead of trying to fry your brain thinking about.
Yeah, no. It's interesting. I've never heard. I've studied world religions, not extensively, but I find other religions than my own interesting to understand where their perspective would come from. And I just never came across that word before. So I was very interested to hear about that. And I'm very interested to try and learn about it.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have the one guest Zachary Smith on. I don't know if this will be out before that, but if you're on there, he can answer questions for you, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. And that's going to be the Wednesday one we were talking about, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the 28th. Yes. So I just had something. Let me see if I can. I sent it on the text message, but in case I can't figure this out, let's see. So share screen. All right.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that. I learned
I want
something.
to join.
Yeah. I want to join Freemasons. I just realized the title being a bit gibberish. I want to join Freemasonry. Hey, dear Masons, I live in Germany. The Lodge Augusta is quite near. Excuse me. I've been thinking about joining, but have never really went there to begin with. Before going, what is Freemasonry? How much does it cost to participate in them? And am I allowed to just go up there? Thanks for all the information in regards. And there's a number of interesting things here. Well, the first one
Yeah.
is a good question. If you don't know what Freemasonry is, why do you want to join? I think that's an excellent question.
That is a
A
good
lot of
question. That's
people
a good
come in
first
that are
question, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
because what do we say in our ceremonies? And this isn't giving anything up, but men come for curiosity purposes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is that against?
I mean, I would be interested to direct the gentleman to his local Grand Lodge website or try and see if there's somebody to contact at that particular lodge that might be able to address his concerns and maybe invite him in to meet the brethren.
Well, wait, he doesn't say he has concerns. He's just interested in joining. Well, I guess one concern would be, what does it take to,
What
qualify?
is it, join with the cost? Because every lodge is different, obviously.
Right. Why not? He's just curious. What?
But that's the thing. I would be interested.
Yeah.
I would say you'd have to introduce him to somebody at that lodge that would be able to answer his questions because honestly, we all know Freemasons aren't necessarily at the lodge building 24/7. right? So he may not know when they meet or anything like that. So it might be important to get him in touch with somebody at the lodge that could tell them, hey, this is when we meet. Come up and meet some of the guys, and we can explain more of your when you have questions.
Like, all right, going down, this guy with the Eye of Horus and Vision Audio. What prompted your feeling to join? Well, again, that's another good question. You're just curious, but what gave you that feeling to be curious? And then he states out right away, it's about $100 a year or up, and that seems to be the average even here in America. So we're up front, telling him right away what the price is going to cost. Do you think that's a bad thing, or should we try to sell him on?
I think it
Come
would be
on.
more interesting to get him interested in the tenets of Freemasonry first. Well, $100 a year doesn't break down to very much per month. It can be a border to some. Some people don't have an extra $100 a year. It's rough sometimes, but it's one of those things that's like, I would rather see him get interested in the reason to become a Freemason rather than concerned with the cost.
Now, the guy does not give like his vicinity to where this lodge is he's looking at. Somebody else says, which Augusta Lodge are you referring to? Well, that's a good question. So I know we've tackled it before, but do you search out the lodge that's closest to your home, or do you search out a lodge closest to where you spend most of your time?
For me, when I joined, I just pretty much put in like where the closest lodge is, but sometimes the closest lodge doesn't mean it's going to be the best one for you. Just
Yeah,
because
see,
like the way you meld with the brothers, potential brothers.
technically the closest lodge to me would be Westchester Lodge. But I joined Villa Park because I meld better with those brethren at that lodge. Not that I don't meld well with Westchester. We get along great with Westchester Lodge. Calvin Martin, Alvin McCattery. Those guys are all part of Westchester Lodge. And I love those guys. It's just I already had a bond with people from Villa Park. So I joined Villa Park, especially since, one of the brothers is my best friend. So I happen to know somebody a little bit better at that lodge. If you don't know anybody going into it, yeah, the best thing would be at least try the closest lodge first and see if you fit well with that group.
Yeah, I think that's what was pretty much for me because I actually just walked in, I didn't know anybody, so and it just so happened, Jan, who has been on the show, pretty much was like one of the first guys that came
Well,
up to me just because he was. Yeah, it was Marty. So he came up to me because he was, like
That's
we were
stunt double
basically like
Marty.
in close in age. So
yeah, I like this Erdborn. The very end, he's like cost depend on lodges. Over here, I'm paying the equivalent of a Netflix subscription. It's about right.
So let's search. All right, give me a bad subject about Freemasonry to look up.
just keep searching like either on all time, all like most popular posts of all time. You could find like a couple ones. Here, here. If you want to stop sharing your screen, let me just point out, do a little shout out here while we're waiting. A little shout out to Frank Sforza. Anybody who's been in the grotto know he's from Liar Grotto, so he's out from Long Island. So he's getting installed as Mexican High Priest. I thought he was a
Wow.
past, but he could be doing it again. Not sure. But little shout out to Frank.
Awesome. Nice shout out, man. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. And here's actually a post to new Masons. So it's from OK Dig 177. Caution to new Masons about asking questions on Reddit. I'm seeing a lot of questions here on EAs and fellow crafts about Freemasonry and a lot of what do I do questions. I want to caution you. I'm all for healthy dialogue, but undoubtedly this group is also full of cowards and eavesdroppers that will gladly give you misinformation. Furthermore, every lodge and jurisdiction will operate slightly differently while honoring the general intent of Freemasonry. In my lodge, we are the pattern lodge for ancient work in our province, and as such are very particular about how things are done, as all other lodges are supposed to look to us an example. Because of this, we do not want other lodges giving our members direction on decorum And it is for that reason we give each new member a coach who is a senior member of the lodge. I'm no way discouraging you from being an active member online and appreciate your zeal in it for the institution. But remember, if you worked at McDonald's, you wouldn't ask advice for someone who worked at Burger King. So,
For SpongeBob's Burgers.
yeah, I know, right? No, but I like this. Obviously, it kind of goes with the whole Masonic mentors, and especially now in this day and age with being online, I'd like to get it where everybody kind of knows like what to do Masonically, whether it is in person or online.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but also it's kind of odd hearing that one lodge in particular is like a pattern lodge for other lodges. I don't think I agree with that, because if that's the case, you're cookie cuttering Masonry.
One, yeah,
It's not the same experience for every man. Every man is trying to get something different out of Freemasonry.
true, true.
If you're looking at ritual, yes, I agree with that. Every jurisdiction has different ritual. We all have different ways of doing things. I agree with that. But to say like they're very particular about how things are done, like I get that that's a jurisdictional thing, but like the lodge experience can be asked about by anybody, because what I'm getting out of Freemasonry, it's not the same thing you're getting out of Freemasonry. It's our common goal to build together. But again, some brethren are looking for more brotherhood, some are looking for more charity, some are looking for more esoterics. It's not the same Freemasonry for every brother.
Yeah,
And with
no,
that, you also got to think about, well, who's asking the question and who's answering the question? Are they of the same generation, or are they the same mind? It doesn't sound like that. The things that we talk about today, even this podcast and many other podcasts that talk about Freemasonry, this would not happen 50 years ago. Definitely not 100 years ago. It's crazy to think. But
Yeah,
that's
and
how it was.
what he's
Today,
described.
we're more open with that. We're more like, hey, I want to go on the internet. I want to see other people's opinions, because all the time you can look in the mirror, you know what you like, great. But when you go out and other people don't look like you kind of want to know what they're thinking about. Hey, does this jacket look like me? Does it look good on
Yeah,
me? Things like that. So,
yeah, and it sounds like the person was describing a intender program where they have somebody to guide and be a rule of guide for any new membership, but also like
yeah,
for
did you say
instance,
that?
and this is just saying for my lodge, it may not be a lot of different lodges, but because he's talking that they're getting paired, they pair each new member with a senior member of the lodge as a coach.
Okay, that's
That's
what I
the
missed.
intender
The
program.
entered apprentice. Okay.
Yeah. So, but what I'm looking at is like when we do at my particular lodge, when we have a new member, they do get assigned a particular intender. That's their point of contact. But we also have intender nights where everybody gets together and we share kind of where everyone's ideas come from, not just that one particular member. Because again, my Freemasonry, your Freemasonry, your Freemasonry, it's all different. So that's up to that brother, the new EA, to figure out what he wants out of the lodge and what he's willing to put into the lodge to get that out of it.
yeah, and it's also incumbent upon the brother as well to, for lack of a better term, they ask what he, like ask for help, and
Yeah,
like,
and
and pretty much like say like swallow your pride and be like, hey, I need help. I don't know what this is or
yeah,
whatever.
and you can, just because you have an intender doesn't mean you can't ask anybody from the lodge. We're all brethren. We're all looking for the same goal of
Yeah,
building each other up. No one in lodge is going to just blatantly lead you wrong because they have a different view of things. They might whisper some wise counsel, or they might tell you said ritual wrong, whatever. But if you ask somebody in the lodge, even if they're not your intender, they're not going to just be like, oh, go ask your intender. I've never heard anybody say, go ask your intender. They will give their perspective on it and then say, hey, your intender might have a different view on things. Ask around, ask a couple of guys.
they'll teach you for about 20 minutes to a half hour, and then who's your intender?
Yeah, right. Let me give you everything I know, and then who is your intender? Wait a second.
Isn't he didn't tell you any of this? Isn't that usually how it goes? No, I've never known anybody to deny another brother help, especially ritual and floor work when you're at lodge.
Yeah, no.
Definitely not.
You got one more? I got either one or two more in me.
Go ahead, show it.
I just got to get. I do have work in the morning. It's late, guys. It's past 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I know. That's why I've been. I put all the other interviews. I'm like, we got to try and do
Yeah, I
this.
saw
at
8 p.m.s. Thank God.
Because, I mean, I'll stay up. I'd rather not, but we got to think about
How much?
our
How much
guests.
you want to bet Marty's not still on a call? He just went to bed.
Nah, it's all right.
What do you got? What do you got?
I don't know. I'm not even looking at Reddit right now.
I thought you were.
Yeah,
No,
take a
I
look.
said anybody got one more.
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't-
no,
I
I
didn't
thought you
open
said
Reddit.
I
You
got a
guys
couple more.
has been on it.
This is role of Freemason and Modern Society, regular race.
Here we go. Here's a good one. Let me get this one shared.
Ooh, I got a good one.
Go ahead, share yours. Let me get a beer while you pull it up.
But why? Non-Americans. Who is the most famous Freemason in your country?
Okay.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Non-Americans, dipshit.
Well, how do I know? Pat Morita?
Jeez. All right. I'll be back in a sec. My beer exploded on me.
Oops.
Jeez. Party foul. Oh, here we go. Yes, this one would probably be good for us. I don't know how to.
right.
I don't know how to share this.
No, I paused because I got some sort of warning on my screen about the sharing tabs.
Okay, I guess I'm not having beer tonight.
Yeah, I don't know. I've got one. I don't know how to share it to the screen, but it's authentic lodge websites. Hello, everyone. Is there a way to know the correct websites for lodges in your country? And B, I'm not a Mason, but would like to know the right way to check the authenticity of a website to apply from. I noticed most lodges have a .org website, not the usual .com. Since I'm not in the craft, it is not easy to just walk in and meet someone at the lodge. That's why I asked. Thank you.
Well, I like to answer that one with our automated response. If you reach out to us on Facebook Messenger, is basically like, "Hi, blah blah blah. If you want to learn about Masonry, go to the United Grand Lodge of England website and just go from there."
I like it.
So, but to go to Wes's, famous non-American Freemasons, I know at least in the Philippines, it's basically like the founding fathers, Jose Rizal, Quezon, a bunch of very, very famous Filipino Freemasons. It's basically almost the same as like how we as Americans love Ben Franklin, George Washington, Paul Revere, the founding fathers. The founding fathers of the Philippines were Freemasons.
Yeah,
like right there,
I-
it
you
says
know-
Manny Pacquiao just became an entered apprentice.
Yeah.
I thought Manny Pacquiao was a Master Mason already.
Nope.
No.
Even he's got to wait. Over there in the Philippines, the waiting list is years long from what I'm.
Yeah, and it's different from the Philippines. It'd actually be really cool to have somebody from the Philippines or somebody like more Filipino that actually has endured, just done Filipino masonry to say like, okay, what are the processes, for somebody that's joined Freemasonry that's not in Illinois or not in the United States, because it seems for here it's more of like, okay, let's get to know you for about a month or two or whatever before we read your petition. Whereas I think in the Philippines, like it could be years.
Right. Well, I'm not sure to pronounce this brother's name. And, I've seen his face before, but didn't know that he was a Freemason. Swami Vivekananda.
Kananda.
Yeah, I'm butchering that. I've seen his picture in places. I don't recall seeing it on anything Masonic. So
Yeah.
this is a surprise to me, and when I read off that question, I'm like, how many non-American famous Freemasons can I name? Put myself on the spot. Not a one. That's terrible. That is terrible. Or at least I can't think of one that I know is non-American.
I honestly don't. I mean, besides the Filipino ones, but obviously since I'm Filipino, so
I'd be interested to see any Australian Freemasons.
Was Ozzy Osbourne ever a Freemason? He seems like the type that would be.
I don't think
I
so.
don't.
But here's actually a couple cool ones. Let me get it up on here. But first, for something completely different.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And now these messages back to you.
Yeah. Here's from r/Yorkwright. So let me get that shared here. Look who's our friend over here.
It's our Brian Mullins right there.
It is our Brian Mullins.
It's our Brian Mullins.
It is our Brian Mullins. I don't know who Evan 5159 is. I don't know if that's him or not.
That's
but,
Evan. It's right next to the guy in the blue. That's Evan, big tall Evan.
Was it? Okay. Yeah. So I just saw that was pretty cool. Like here's
Evan.
little buddy.
It's Grotto. That's Grotto Evan.
Oh, is it
from
really?
Maru.
Okay.
Yeah, look at him.
You know what? I feel bad because I'm terrible with names. So
That's the worshipful master of that lodge.
okay. Yeah. Some of the faces look familiar.
Nice.
I know I've met him before.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
Look at
that's
that.
pretty cool. But yeah, here, let me
Nice.
show this one. Here's actually a pretty cool one. Pretty much the hierarchy of the York-Rite bodies and just the different way of like different things of York-Rite. So which I think was pretty cool.
Brian, if you're listening, look, I have a wife.
So I think this is a pretty cool infographic of different
Fudge.
orders
Is that
of
just-
York Rites.
yeah.
So and then there's Scottish Rite and Shrine, which is really not
Order
much.
of Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't you have to be Mexican for that?
What? Where's it?
Well, I was just looking. That's pretty
Quetzalcoatl.
cool looking.
Yeah.
Quetzalcoatl.
Hey, that's pretty interesting. Here's another Mormon thing. There's a lot of Mormons that believe Quetzalcoatl is Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
Or
Here's our
God.
High 12.
Look, Bunker Hill.
Bunker Hill, Psyots.
Got to get that. The Bunker
Where's
Hill.
the tall cedars?
It is not on here. That's weird.
That is not on there.
Well, nope.
Nope. Don't see it.
Nope.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, I guess they missed Tall Cedars.
Guess so.
Where do you get your info, Mark? Where do you get? Who
Reddit.
vets this info?
Yeah, let me see if I can get on Facebook because all my Facebook is saved on Siri, and I have to use Microsoft or Chrome for Riverside. Can't do it real quick, then I'm not gonna mess with it.
Well, boys, it is getting late. I am getting tired. I'm going to hop off, but before I do, my shout out will be to Amanda Victoria. Congratulations, worthy matron. She's gonna have a great year. You guys are gonna have a great year.
Thank you.
I like that picture we took together with our gavels.
Isn't that cool?
I love that picture.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So yeah, no, we can just end it here.
Did you see the picture with the gavels, Wes? I took a picture with Amanda because Amanda got presented a gavel at her installation.
No, do you have it? Can you bring it up?
I don't have it on me.
No, but I could
We
post.
could send it to you.
Yeah, we could send it and then we could
Yeah,
Put it
send
up
it, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Well, this wasn't like.
No, it's
super
good. It was a
weird.
nice little discussion. It's a
So-
good talk.
We're trying to make more content for you guys, keep you guys more engaged with us, let us know what's going on with us and all that. Trying new things and discovering new things, especially on this.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you guys want a particular idea for a podcast, send it to Wes.
No, send it to @refreshment at gmail.com. Speaking of that, now that I figured this out, got an idea. We can watch some of those bogus Freemasonry videos, the claims and stuff right on this.
Yeah, we could do live reacts. It'd be great.
So that's what I'm doing. I could hook this up again live. If everyone's not worried about language or if everyone can watch their mouths, we can do the reacts live or, however you guys tell us. God knows when this is.
Promise to watch my language.
Give me a mirror.
Well, I mean, look at Mr. A-hole over here.
Yeah. It kind of jumped out at me in Louisiana or New
Look at
Orleans.
that.
New Orleans. Gotta love it.
So,
Good night, guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right, everyone. Shout out and shouts out to everyone out there, and have a good
I
night.
did my couple shout outs to Frank and
Jan.
Mullins, so and Jan.
And Jan.
No, Marty.
Yeah.
Marty.
I got a shout out to red shirt manufacturers. Thank you.
And glasses.
Everyone.
Glasses. And glasses. Have a good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
On every twist.